Let's dive into one of the most mysterious and, honestly, one of the most elaborate spiritual texts of the entire 20th century. Today, we're taking a journey into the incredibly vast and intricate universe described by the Urantia Book. This is a text that claims to be nothing less than a new revelation for our entire planet.
The universe is far larger, older, and more organized than we imagine. Just think about that for a second. This quote really gets to the heart of the whole thing. It suggests our reality isn't just big, it's meticulously designed, it's intelligently run, and it's way more complex than our minds can even handle. It's basically an invitation to rethink everything we thought we knew about our place in the cosmos.
So to get our heads around this thing, here's our roadmap for today. We're going to start with what the book claims to be, dig into its super strange origins, break down its core structure into 4 big pillars, then we'll literally map out its version of the cosmos, touch on the controversies, and finally, figure out where we fit into this massive universe of purpose.
Now, right from the get-go, the book makes this just audacious claim. It's not just another book of philosophy, no, it declares itself the 5th epical revelation to our world, which, by the way, it calls Urantia. This puts it on the same level as, these huge shifts in human consciousness. We're talking Adam and Eve, Melchizedek, and Jesus Christ. And according to the book, the last revelation before this one was Jesus himself. Yeah, big claim.
And it is massive. I mean, look at that, over 2,000 pages. This is not something you just flip through on a Sunday afternoon. It's this exhaustive, super detailed account of literally everything, from the nature of God all the way to the history of our planet.
So the big question, right? Who wrote it? Well, this is where the story gets really strange. The book itself claims it wasn't written by any human at all, but by a commission of celestial, supermortal beings.
The whole origin story revolves around a guy named Dr. William Sadler, who was a pretty well-known doctor in Chicago. Around 1911, he started observing this man who would fall into these really deep trances, this peculiar sleep. And during these trances, the man apparently channeled communications from these otherworldly beings. This went on for years, creating all the papers that eventually became the Urantia Book, which was finally published in 1955. And that brings us right back to that huge central claim, a 5th epical revelation. The argument is basically that humanity has kind of come of age. We've reached a point where we're supposedly ready for a bigger, more complete truth. One that finally ties science, philosophy, and religion all together.
Okay, so how in the world do you even start to tackle a 2,000-page cosmic encyclopedia? Well, the book is actually brilliantly organized into 4 main parts. The best way to think of them is like 4 giant pillars that hold up this whole massive structure. So let's see what each one is all about.
Part 1, the first pillar, lays out the architecture of the entire master universe. It starts with the nature of God, then describes the absolute center of everything, this still, eternal place called the Isle of Paradise. From there, it just maps everything outwards, the 7 super-universes, the countless local universes. It's literally a blueprint of infinity.
Next up, Pillar 2. This part takes that cosmic architecture and populates it. It's basically a who's who of the cosmos, a detailed breakdown of this massive celestial administration. We're talking about a spiritual hierarchy with countless beings, from different kinds of angels to these incredibly powerful creator sons who build and manage their own local universes, just like ours.
Pillar 3 then zooms way in, right into our tiny little corner of that universe, our world, Urantia, and it gives this radical retelling of our planet's history. It covers everything from geology and the evolution of life all the way to the development of human civilization, and it even has its own super deep version of the story of Adam and Eve. And finally, the 4th pillar, and get this, it's the largest single part of the book, is this incredibly detailed biography of the life and teachings of Jesus. It presents Jesus not just as a religious figure, but as the creator son of our local universe who chose to live a human life just to show all of us the true nature of God.
Okay, quick pause. If your mind is being at least a little bit blown by this cosmic blueprint, do me a quick favor and hit that like button. It's a small click, but it honestly helps us so much to keep mapping out these huge topics.
All right, let's get back to it and zoom in on that cosmic map. because the Urantia book describes a universe that isn't just huge, it's meticulously organized, almost like a giant celestial corporation.
Now take a look at this because it really gives you a sense of the insane scale we're talking about. The whole thing is this nested structure, like Russian dolls, with everything expanding out from that one divine center, the Isle of Paradise. We are way, way out here in one of the 7 super universes, which are basically described as these cosmic training grounds for mortals like us on our super long journey back to God.
And this is where it gets really mind-bending. It's like a cosmic mailing address. According to the book, you don't just live on Earth. Oh no. You live on planet Urantia, in the system of Satania, in the constellation of Norladiatic, which is in the local universe of Nebadon, all inside the 7th superuniverse, Orvanton. Pretty specific, huh? Just let that quote sink in. In a universe where absolutely everything is moving, evolving, and changing, there is one single, absolute, unmoving center, the source of all gravity, all energy, and all personality.
But of course, a book that makes claims this big is going to have its critics, right? And it definitely does. So let's jump into the central debate around where this thing actually came from.
So here is the billion-dollar question. Is the Urantia book a genuine revelation from higher beings? Or is it one of the most elaborate, detailed works of science fiction ever created? Skeptics, like the famous author Martin Gardner, pointed to its super dense, almost corporate-style language and famously called it a mix of Flash Gordon meets the Book of Mormon. The main critiques really focus on a few key things. First off, the incredible claim of celestial authors. That's a tough one to prove. Second, researchers have actually found that parts of the book seem to borrow heavily from academic and scientific papers that were around at the time. Third, some of its ideas about cosmology just don't really line up with what our modern telescopes are telling us. And finally, a lot of people just feel like this divine corporate bureaucracy feels a little too human,
But for all the debates and all the critiques, the ultimate message of the Urantia book really tries to be deeply personal. It wants to take this vast, almost impersonal cosmos and show you your unique and eternal role within it.
Which leads to the ultimate question, doesn't it? If this whole thing is a map, where are we going? And the book's answer is pretty profound. It says that our life here is just the very beginning of an eternal adventure, a journey of endless growth, of endless discovery, ascending through countless worlds, with the final destination being the very center of creation, the personal presence of God on Paradise.
And maybe that's the real takeaway here. Whether you see this as a divine revelation or a brilliant piece of fiction, the book offers this powerful alternative to a cold, random, meaningless universe. It paints a picture of a cosmos that's friendly, that's highly organized, and is just brimming with purpose. A universe where you are not an accident, but a cherished participant in a grand, eternal adventure.
So, I have to ask you, what do you think? Is this an incredibly intricate work of science fiction, or is it a profound spiritual guide? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And as always, if you enjoyed this journey, please like and share. It helps us continue to explore these amazing ideas.